Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Happy Saturday night or Sunday morning. Let's see. Edna Terrain, thank you so much for being here first. And let me see. I'm just going to scroll through and I'm going to say hello to you all individually. Thank you so much. It's already so late, so I will skip that formality. And yes, we are ready to start. Let's see if we can get out of here in an hour. While I was prepping, I was enjoying myself so much, I just kind of took my time, which I tend to do. Uh, let's see. Nathalando, thank you so much. Welcome. Hey, Black Queen, J. Matt, Marshar, Jan Martin, Lorna Williams. Okay, as promised, let's go. All right, here we go. So, look who's got friends in low places. Why is Dan Wootton? Now, at some point, we are going to be exhausted of the Wootton, but for now, we are trying to keep that name trending for obvious reasons, and don't think he's not affected by it. As a matter of fact, sometimes he has nightmares about us.
Thomas, I wanted to ask you about these vile individuals who refer to themselves as the Sussex Squad.
I mean, he literally chokes on the Sussex Squad. He chokes on it. Just like some of the vile and vicious things he says, he chokes on the name Sussex Squad, as well he should. I could imagine that he really never wanted to mention it in the first place, but at a certain point, we have been a force to be reckoned with. So,
I wanted to ask you about these vile individuals who refer to themselves as the Sussex Squad.
The Sussex Squad. The Sussex. The Sussex Squad. I mean, it's almost like he doesn't have a gag reflex. Don't go there. It's almost like he doesn't have a gag reflex. Anyways. Oh, let me open up another screen so I can see what you guys are seeing. That would be really cool. Okay. All right. Let me do that. Oh, perfect. All right. The Sussex Squad. Thomas, have you ever heard of these vile individuals who refer to themselves as the Sussex Squad? CD, thank you so much for the Cash App. And thank you so much for watching the Sussex Squad. The Royal Sussex Squad. Mercedes, I promise you, we are not going in that direction today, but thank you for saying what I was thinking. Okay. Yes, he's eating crow. That's what it is. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super. Thank you so much. Elaine, have you ever heard of these things on the YouTube? They're called have you ever heard of it? It's called a anyway. Woo! Okay. So when I said friends in low places, this is exactly what I mean. Well, I'm just going to call the names out. Neil Gardner, you know where he comes from. That's the one that's been looking into Harry's business. Nana Akuna Matata. Yeah, Nana Makuna Matata. You recognize that's the one with all of those unusual, um, I don't know if they're extensions. No, they couldn't be extensions. Whatever that is that she has on her head, that Kuna Matata. And let's see, Professor Jonathan something OBE. I can barely make these out. But Sarah Vine. Sarah, where's my neck vine? Joy Amore, thank you so much for the I better stop doing that before I injure myself. VS Speaks Royally is here. Hey, VS. Let me see here. Baroness Foster, DBE. Lee Cohen, I don't know that person. Conservative Pose. Narendra, whatever that is it Carr? I don't recognize these other people, but I'm sure they're all a pain in the neck. But yeah, so these are the friends that he managed to conjure up. The only three that I recognize is Sarah. Let me cover up this space between my chin and my shoulders, Vine. And of course, that Neil Gardner person, the one whose hairline starts at his back pockets. The one whose hairline starts like right at the nape of his neck. His hairline is behind his ears, but nobody's willing to tell him the truth. But I promise you, Neil Gardner's hairline starts from behind his ears. It's like this straight. I'm impressed though, because it has like kind of anyway, there's this straight line that goes across the top of his head, almost like it's a headband or something. But almost like it's a headband or something. I just pinned a link to the top of the chat. So that is the VS Speaks Royally channel. So please make sure that you are subscribed. Those are the only three that I recognize. Like I said, he has some friends in some pretty low places. And if this is the best that he can do, now there's more people on staff at that repulsive news channel that he works for, but I don't see any of them listed here. Anyway, I'm sure that they're all reaching out to him with support. All two or three of them that are willing to say something. But other than that, I don't really see anybody else from his pitiful television crew. No, I don't recognize the rest of those names. Well, I mean, it goes without saying, here's a group of supporters, I'm sure. Let me show you a group of supporters. There they go. 1, 2, let me see, 3, 4. I'm going to say 4, maybe 5. I'm going to say at least 5 of those people up there support him. I'm going to say at least 5 of those people support him. What's really interesting, though, is that most of these royal reporters, these hateful, vile individuals, have you noticed that after the Queen died, let's say Piers Morgan, for one, and I'm trying to think of another one. Anyway, they post photo. Oh, Nigel Farage, even. They have post images of themselves with the Queen, but the Queen is talking to someone else, usually in the photo. Actually, not usually, exclusively speaking to someone important and not the royal reporter / bully. But they shamelessly post those photos as if the Queen actually had anything to do with them. I have to say this much: whatever you think of the Queen, none of them have any photos of them actually having a conversation with her. None of them. not posing or having a conversation. They're usually off to the side, like something discarded, like a fish bone or perhaps a chicken wing, often discarded and not really part of the photo with the queen. So I'm just thinking about that just now. Okay, so those are the people that support him, the handful of people that are willing to hitch their wagon to a lost cause. So, right here, a hard left blog is on a deranged campaign of harassment designed to destroy me financially, mentally, and professionally. In other words, all of the stuff that he's done to other people, right? That is what he had the nerves to say. So here are some of the reactions to that. Um, I decided not to redact the names as I usually would, but I'll let you take a look at a few of those yourself. Um, Let me see here. Oh, Dan, Lady C has confirmed my suspicion. She talks truth. Oh, wait a minute. Do not stop. Do not stop it. He is now finally getting his karma, and it's great. Let me see, Dan, I do hope you are joking. I am pretty confident your income is somewhat larger than mine. You have a cheek asking for money. I would take this post down and have a little self respect. Begging doesn't become you. I think it's like a hand to a glove. Perhaps karma is getting back at you, and everything you have done before is now happening to you. So I'll let you take a look at those while I take a look at some of your comments. Let me see here. Dorothy Corden says, friends, okay, the friends will follow. Okay, thank you. All right. And whatever you put out in this life, you get back tenfold, Denise Dublin, tenfold. You will get it back tenfold. Revenge is a bish, is a dish, a bish. Revenge is a dish best served cold. There you go. Oh, really? I did not know that. I heard, and you know what, Shay, I'm so glad you said that because I didn't actually prepare anything for this, but I noticed that someone who is a YouTuber that is a fan of Johnny Depp, uh, it actually, uh, he has a video where he's talking about Dan Wootton. Dan Wootton would, and this is an American blogger, and from what I can tell, he sounds like he's from New England. This guy would have never noticed a Dan Wootton if Dan Wootton hadn't come after Johnny Depp. So his big mouth has expanded him to a wider audience. And in particular, there are some serious fans for Johnny Depp who are coming for him. So thank you so much for reminding me about that. But that is what's going to cause this story to play to a wider audience, hence the United States audience, is because of his uh, negativity and nastiness toward Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has his fans, as evident by the trial. The trial. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't keep up with the trial. I have not the least bit of knowledge of what it was about. I think it was about him being his likeness or characterization being used in a book, and that he was accused of being abusive. I think that's what it was about. But I did not follow that case. But I know that he had a lot of support and that there was a lot of support online. And now those people that were so supportive to Johnny Depp, now they are coming after Dan Wootton. And I do mean coming after him on these social media. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just know that he won in the court of law and he seems to have won in the court of public opinion. But I don't know. I don't have a side. I don't know enough about it. But what I am basking in right now is the fact that the people who supported him are coming after Dan Wootton. So, hey, Big Mama. Hello, Royal Sussex. We are in a power outage in Mississippi, so I might not stay long. Oh, my goodness. Listen. Run a bathtub with some nice cool water just in case you get overheated, because I imagine it's probably kind of warm right now. So, that's always a good idea when you're going to go some time without electricity. So yeah, that might alleviate some of the heat. But if it's not so hot, then you'll be okay. But yeah, I think if there's any type of emergency, one of the best things to do is to fill up a bathtub full of water. Oh man, just in case the plumbing goes out, the power goes out, the heat, electric, or whatever goes out. It's always good to have some water. If there's no heat, you can boil a pot on the stove, hopefully. Lydia Washington says, happy birthday, Reba H. and Faya 22 Lobby. Happy birthday to both of you. Happy birthday. And I'm not going to wait. Let's dance it out. Let's dance it out. Hello, Ivy here. All right, let's dance this one out. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Today is Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor's birthday. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Church Nellie's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, all right. Okay. So, let me get back over here. Happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. And thank you, Lydia Washington, for the shout out on the birthdays. Thank you very much. Okay. So, police are in. Claims against Dan Wootton investigated by Police Scotland. Police Scotland confirms they are investigating a complaint made in 2021 and that the investigation will continue. I still don't know what Police Scotland means, but this is an online news source and they've been following the story. They have the blue check mark. So I'm going to accept that that is a real thing. And of course, let me see, from 2021, we don't know which individual who that may be, but we'll find out. We will find out very soon, I hope. But as it said yesterday, Democracy Unlocked understands that Dan Wootton is under investigation by Police Scotland after an allegation was made. He previously denied that he was under any investigation. This comes after allegations made by somebody on social media that Wootton denies ever meeting. Police Scotland confirmed they are investigating a complaint made in 2021 and that the investigation will continue. Part 2 of the byline investigation found that various bullying complaints were made against Wootton in the Sun, all of which ignored and pushed away by executives. It found one senior member of the Sun even took a kitchen knife to the meeting with an executive with the intention of self-harming in front of an executive who sided with Wootton because they were that distraught with goings on at the paper by Wootton. Another revelation, by the way, I think that person got a 6-figure payout. Another revelation by the outlet was just as shocking, with a complainant rather started losing their hair with stress, and they had begun working closely. After they had begun working closely with Wootton, it became that stressful. Byline Times found that employees described Wootton as someone who thought he was untouchable and that he made you feel helpless. Now, again, okay, you think it's the same thing? Okay, that's just okay. Maybe that's how they say it wherever that newspaper comes from or news service comes from. But yeah, I'm guessing it's the same thing. But thank you so much for that. Let's see. Oh yeah, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Let me see. Shocking complaint started. Somebody thought he was untouchable, and that made. Oh, I was going to say one of the things that's different about this, and of course the Schofield situation, is that Schofield retreated from television. He isn't working currently, but Dan intends to continue to work. So that's the big difference, is that Dan plans to continue working. So we'll see if the outcome is similar. Will this end up with Dan being terminated? Will he decide to take a leave on his own? Or will he, or will there be any charges brought? Most people don't think that this is going to end up a jail situation, although there are probably many people who feel like it should. But another Sussex-friendly space, Lit for Sussex. Lit for Sussex. Another Sussex-friendly space is at the top of the chat. So right here, this person says, wait, am I on the right one? Yeah. This person says, legal news, Dan Wootton's worth £5 million, allegedly, is grifting, allegedly, money from his viewers to fund his legal fees. If this goes to court, discovery will come into play, where lawyers involved will be able to request written electronic communications from Wootton, which could compromise a lot of people. Again, if this goes to court, and when they have discovery, some of the people that Dan Wootton allegedly has threatened, allegedly have blackmailed, or alleged to have blackmailed, all of that information would come out in a court of law. Very similar to something that we recall not too long ago, where there was a friend of Prince Andrew who, in a very similar vein, seemed to have a lot on a lot of people, seemed to be untouchable, seemed to be above the law. And when it got to the point where the little black book was brought into question, well, we've never seen the little black book. When it came to the alleged material other than that, we've never seen any of that. But one thing is a constant. We keep hearing that there were some very big names on the list of people associated with Andrew's friend. And likewise, this guy, Wootton, has not had the time to put in as Andrew's friend did, but it doesn't mean that there's not a lot there. But very rich and powerful people are not going to sit idly by and allow their names to be thrown out there. So it could be so damaging. It is going to be very interesting if that happens. If we find out that there is a court case, everything changes. Everything. So a sense of purpose and urgency is what I see from everyone who donated and or help spread the fundraiser. Byline Times now at 35,155 pounds. That was a little while ago. Subscribe, bylinetimes.com. Breaking the Dan Wootton scandal. Help us keep exposing wrongdoing in the national media. So they were trying to raise 32,500 and they have exceeded that amount. Doesn't mean that we should stop donating. So I have right here, this is what they have on their homepage. It says, help us keep exposing wrongdoing in the national media. Go to Byline Time. You can see right here. I don't have the absolute not zinc. What I'm saying, zinc link. I don't have the direct link, but if you choose to make a donation, I just wanted you to see how the page appears, so you'll know you're on the right page, right? That is it right there. So this is what they're asking for. We are Tom Latcham and Dan Evans, the investigative journalists who finally broke Dan Wootton's scandal on Byline Times. This story was the result of a special 3-year investigation into one of TV's most powerful presenters, but it is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what we believe must be exposed in the public interest. Wow, that is a monumental task. We have a number of other stories that reveal unscrupulous actions from people within the national news media. That, of course, is for the UK. Despite being fully aware of the allegations, because we put the story to some of the biggest names in journalism, the establishment press decided not to report on the shocking findings from within its own ranks until Byline Times put its head above the parapet. We all need to ask ourselves why. But Dan Wootton's story goes much wider than the actions of him alone. It is also a story about the toxic culture of the national media itself, and we want to keep telling this story. So far, as freelance investigative journalists, without a big established media outlet backing us, we have received no money for working on this long-running investigation to expose the actions of litigious people with big pockets. We are crowdfunding to cover our costs and to make sure we can carry on speaking to sources and give complainants, that is, a voice. As for legal threats, we may indeed be set up set up a ring fence legal fighting fund at Crowd Justice. So that is why they are asking for money. They want to be able to defend themselves against some very big names with some very, very deep pockets. So again, this is their homepage. You know what to look for, and you can find the information you need so that you can make a donation if you choose to. I certainly am. So again, if you choose to, that is how you find it. Byline Times, subscriptions, gift vouchers, and books. You can do a subscription. You can do a one-time donation. It's up to you. All right. So let's get into Alexandra Burke. Now, I must admit, I didn't know who she was. But Alexandra Burke apparently has had her run-ins with Dan Wootton. Like right here, you can see, hi, Dan Wootton. Just thought I would send you this hug. I guess that's what the X is. She says, Dan Wootton, every time we have met, you've been lovely. I'm finding it very hard to read all of the lies that you have published about me. I've tried my best to just be strong and brush it all off, but mentally it's taken a toll. It hurts so much to read yet another fake story when all I want to do is enjoy this journey on Strictly. Please spread love. Life is just too short for all of this. With love, Alexandra. Hugs. So that is what she sent to Dan Wootton. His response was as frigid as the North Pole. Postscript. All stories are always put to you and strictly officially to allow you to respond. As we did previously, you can always speak to me direct by anything using all my contact details, which you have. So, of course, he didn't stop, right? Of course, he didn't stop. And then the sad thing is, she reaches out to him as polite as possible and as humble as possible. Dan has this ability to ingratiate himself with people. People tend to like him until they get to know him. Once they get to know him, by then it's too soon. Too late, because at that point he's probably already tried to push your head under the water, so to speak, and hold you there by dropping story after story, a lot of gossip. And remember, he was a showbiz reporter who eventually became a royal reporter, or a little of both. But that was his thing, was showbiz. And it's as though he's like, I don't know, Perez Hilton, but with a much bigger platform. Perez Hilton, to give you an idea of how people feel about things, here in the US, Perez Hilton is a joke. The only place where people would take him serious is in the tabloid media. He would fit right in the UK, but the thing is, I don't think that people would take that well to him as they have taken to Dan Wootton, because he seems to be under the protection of the media group that owns the Sun and so on. So, but again, it's the same nastiness and negativity. It is two people who seem to not be comfortable in their own skin, and two people who are very vicious toward entertainers who will not give them exclusives or give them the time of day. They become particularly vicious. And you could throw Pierce Morgan into that one, and probably a few other people. But they can be very vicious if you're not dancing to their music, if you're not giving them exclusives, if you're not being performative, they'll come after you. And so right here, exclusive, star Alexandra Burke had a heated backstage bust-up with Gorka Marquez ahead of this week's dance-off. I'll let you hear it in her own words. I made a short video. Some of you all may have watched it already. Some of you all may have not. But I'll let you hear it in her own words. But classic Wootton. Very classic Wootton. And of course, well, anyway, let me find it. Let me find it. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry. That's not what I meant to do. Put that over there. And go.
I remember when I got injured and I was in hospital and I was so sick and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want people to be like, oh, she's paying the victim card again. He said, oh, she's backstage, she's been backstage, she's been throwing chairs, she's been screaming at Tess, at Claudia, she's been doing this to her partner, that to her partner, and I was in hospital. And I was like, why can't anyone stick up for me? Why can't A Strictly or anyone from the BBC say something and say the truth? I was told to be quiet, I was told to not say anything, so I did, and I didn't say anything. And that's one of my biggest regrets in life, because I was so scared on that show. I was so scared because if I spoke out, she's playing the victim card. If I cried, oh, look, she's playing another victim card. If I was happy, it's how can she be so happy? She's just lost her mum. She doesn't care about losing her mum. That's the kind of comments I was getting daily online. So many trolls. I was getting so many trolls telling me all kinds of stuff. And how I got through it, I look back and I've got no idea. I've got no idea. I don't even like thinking about that experience at all. But thankfully, my family, my friends got me through it. I could have spoken up much earlier and was too scared to. Even doing this video now scares me. Scares me because someone like myself, and many people have lost their parents, right? So I'm not trying to play the victim card at all, because that's what I get told a lot of times, but I'm really not trying to play that. What I'm trying to say is, when I lost my mum, was the same day that I done the Strictly Reveal day, right? And I'll never forget when my family said to me, Alex, you have to do it, you've got to do it. And I was like, boy, I don't think I can. And I remember watching the sunrise outside the hospital with my auntie. She was like, you got to do this for your mum. This is what your mum wanted. And I was like, okay, cool. I turned up to that red carpet. And one journalist, because I couldn't speak to anyone, right? I literally could not speak. I said, I'll do it, but I can't do press. Because I felt like if I'd opened my mouth, I felt like I just would break down and nobody would understand. Because we hadn't told anyone at that point. Also, it didn't really feel real. And so this journalist basically come up to me and said, oh, so you're not doing press? Being a diva today, are we? That person knows who they are. And if I could rewind time, actually, I don't know what I'd do. But to have someone say that, that was the image they had of me because of papers. Particularly one journalist in particular. This one journalist who people know who I'm talking about. I don't need to mention his name. But he has painted me out to be a complete and utter bitch.
So that is very painful to listen to. But even worse, it was probably painful to have to endure it. When you are reaching for your dreams, whatever those dreams might be, when you have a family to support, when everyone has made sacrifices, whether it's a little or a lot, because we're all rooting for someone in the family or for our friends that are our families to make it to the top. And along the way, you run into some very sinister people who feel as though it's their job to punish you along the way. If you want this dream, then you have to accept what I say and what I do and how I act against you. That always seems to be the common thread. The only thing is, the people who get the most are getting punished the very least in the UK, and that, of course, is the royal family. Nobody's punishing them. They were born at the top, but they don't get punished. The only one that gets punished in that family is the one that is singled out as the spare. It's always the spare. Exclusively, the spare has to accept the slings and arrows on behalf of the rest of the family. They are sacrificed. Alexandra doesn't have anyone to sacrifice and probably doesn't want to sacrifice anyone. She was just trying to live her dreams. She is living her dreams, as a matter of fact. But along the way, she had to deal with the monster. Not just one, but one in particular, as she said. So this situation that did not happen, according to her, and of course, the continued attacks that she received after someone tried to be her friend or pretended to be her friend. And then all of a sudden, here comes one article after the next. But that's what they do for a living. That is why that person allegedly has 5 million pounds net worth and asking for money to make sure that no matter which direction this goes, they won't lose anything, that they won't end up with so much less than where they are right now. So again, I made a short video. If you want to watch it again, you could go to the last video I uploaded before this one, and you can see it there. If you want to share it with someone or whatever, it is there. But yeah, I think she made this. I think it was 3 years ago. But anyway, thank you, Glow, of the Sussex Squad. Thank you, Glow, for bringing this to our attention, and also the photos that the screenshots here. Glow also managed to resurrect those so that we could see exactly how it went. But yeah. And as someone pointed out, she didn't have the ability, excuse me, she didn't have the ability to mourn her mother. And I know it may have been difficult to hear parts of it, but she said that she was with her aunt outside of the hospital, and her aunt told her, you got to do this. This is what your mother would want. And of course, I can totally understand the whole part about not wanting to speak about something. I myself, I can keep myself together in the worst of situations until I have to talk about it. And then once I hear myself say it, then, as she said, it becomes real. I totally get that. So, like I said, I hope that we are able to keep the pressure up. If this is too much for anyone, I totally understand. If you feel like you need to take time away from these types of articles and such, do it, because it is more important to protect your mental health than to suffer through something that is incredibly triggering for some people. So you have to make that call for yourself. Okay, so a Black Queen said, these people really inflict cruel and unusual punishment on innocent people. I hope justice is served and we witness a paradigm shift in morality on Shutter Island. I hope so. I really do. And, for that matter, we need to do some shifting here in the U.S. because I remember the days before Entertainment Tonight and Extra, and and they are literally sitting right outside of the studios or invited into those spaces, and sometimes directors and producers and such, and even the actors and singers, they court the controversy so that they can get noticed. There's also people who court that stuff, but for someone who's just trying to make it, like one of the things that I have been preoccupied with lately, like sometimes when I should be prepping, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I have been researching Joan Crawford and Betty Davis and their feud, and inevitably I end up watching a couple of movies or little things on the YouTube. But it's fascinating how they pitted the two of them against each other. And even, back in those days, they had the movie magazines. They had, what was her name, Hedda Harper and those type of people that would ruin someone's life, especially if you were not doing as you're told. But, you had studios that would pay off some of the people that wanted to expose you. They would sacrifice some of the minor stars or people they found disagreeable. And of course, you also have to remember that a lot of those people, their lives were not exactly what they appeared in the first place. Their personalities were a studio creation. They changed their names. I mean, even Tony Bennett changed his name so he could fit in. He couldn't be so Italian and be an American singer. He had to tone down his Italianness. So, it's nothing new about a person's character being created. But in the social media age, one thing that has changed is that at least we're able to call them out. We are able to call them out. They are able to call upon support directly from their fans in a way that they would have never been able to do it before. So for those that are innocent or those that are misunderstood or whatever you want to call it, at least they are able to fight back using their fans and social media. Adrian Burrow says, you're absolutely right, Baron. I know evil is out there, but I have never experienced people that have a hard so cold that they don't think karma would or can pay them a visit. I think it's like with anybody else that is acting in a criminal way or something close to it. They don't ever think they're going to get caught. They think they're going to be smarter than the last one, that they have it figured out. And also, that type of power is addictive. It is very addictive. When you get away with it once, you get away with it twice, there's nothing that says that you can't get away with it the third time or that you'll always get away with it. Especially, let's face it, for a white man at the top of the socioeconomic ladder, they have every reason to believe that they're going to get away with things because for the most part, they kind of do. They kind of really do. There's not so big a price to pay for a lot of them. They'll, like, what did the mafiosos do? They would go to court with an oxygen tank and a wheelchair. They would talk about their childhood and that sort of thing. But for anyone who's considered a minority or someone who doesn't look like, the type of, let's say, English Rose, you have no excuses. If you're an English Rose, you have an excuse. You have support constantly. So this is why, in spite of everything that's going on, they don't say certain things about Kate. I've noticed that with the Daily Mail, they have the tabs at the top of the paper or the screen rather, and you see everybody's name up there except for Kate. Everybody's got a tab except for Kate. And it's been like that for a couple years now. Meghan has been up there, but no Kate. I thought Kate was supposed to be so important. She doesn't even have a tab, but she doesn't really need one because she always gets top billing every day. Every day with the most flattering photoshopped images that one could possibly bring forward. She gets top billing every day. Oh, Kate walked across the street. Oh, Kate threw a softball. Oh, Kate bought some ice cream. All of that is top billing. Kate carried pizzas. Kate swung a tennis racket. And there'll be like 50 photos. Oh, man. Yellow Rose T says, we need Byline Times US version. Amen to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there, like I said, there's enough corruption over here that we need to pay attention to. Unfortunately, a lot of it is connected with Murdoch's brand of news, which, has pretty much ruined. Murdoch's News is kind of like that big discount store chain. It has destroyed a lot of small town operations and brought in cynicism, sarcasm, and plain hatred in its place. That's what it's done, is put a madman into the White House. I mean, literally, that's a Rupert Murdoch creation. Trump is a Rupert Murdoch creation. That's way too much power for one person. Okay, so Omid Scobie chimed in on the situation. This is what happens when you try to expose illegal practices, immoral behavior, or corruption in the British media. It's why few people ever speak out about their experiences or things they have witnessed. For those that do, expect your life to be made a living hell. And then, of course, he also tweeted today, the good folk in this industry, there are many, silence is not acceptable. When you watch our peers getting bullied, intimidated, or harassed, saying nothing makes you part of the problem. I stand in solidarity with those trying to make our media landscape a better place. And I have no doubt that that Omid Scobie has been investigated, followed, and probably even threatened. Black Queen says, Baron, with the exception of Alex Murdaugh, he's up in it real bad. He's up in it. I wonder how he would say that. Let me think about that for a second. I don't know if let me see. No, I can't. And wait. No, I can't. I can't even fix my mouth to, and I'm up in it real. No, I can't do it. I wish I could. I was going to try to do a Dan Wootton up in it real bad, but every time I try to adjust my mouth to say it, it's not coming out. But he is, thank you for that. He is up in it real bad. And I hope, I pray that, because as I predicted with Schofield, they're going to let him go and disappear for a little while, and then eventually he'll be back. Eventually. But as far as this is concerned, I think what's so different is that he's trying to stay on television and stay relevant while it plays out around him. And it's not that he's not fighting, because, well, he's asking for people to give him some funding to fight. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, I hope they got the goods on him and that they take him down. Okay, so where did I leave off? Was I here? Nope. Gotta go further. Oh, yeah. That's where I left off. So right here, Dan Wootton tried to destroy 3 lives of 3 women: Meghan Markle, Carolyn Flack, and Lily Allen. His headlines caused tremendous mental health suffering. Rather than being fired, he carried on writing vitriolic headlines. What a mess he is. He is now, what a mess he is now, clinging on to his job, karma. Yeah, he is clinging to his job. He's not letting the job go. If he lets go, he might not be able to fight away from the camera. As long as he's in front of the camera, he can solicit help from people by declaring that they're after the GB News. So that's why he cannot leave. Now, right here, one of the squatties created a visual representation of Dan Wootton's obsession with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And these, of course, are Dan Wootton tweets, a visual representation. Now, it is way too small to see it, but just to give you an idea, and looking at some of, well, the very few photos, well, it's kind of hard to interpret them, but that is a visual representation. He tweets a lot. Patricia Ann Franklin, thank you for being here. So, there is Dan with his big bonded veneers, and of course, William. Now, this is not a real authentic photo, obviously, because Dan's teeth are not that big. I'm just kidding. I don't believe there are any photos of Dan with his slimy hand on William's equally slimy shoulder. But it's an optic created by one of the squatties that I get a big kick out of. And then it makes me wonder about this situation. Simon Rex was offered $70,000 to lie about Meghan Markle and their relationship. It makes me think about that. It really makes me think about this situation. Not sure where the offer came from. I do believe that there was an offer and that he did turn it down. I've actually listened to him on his, I think it was a YouTube channel, or was it? No, it was Instagram. And let me just say this. He is quite eccentric. He doesn't seem to be a person that is driven by money. He kind of lives in the moment. And, you know, he doesn't apologize for who he is or how he lives his life. So I'll just say that. And so it would not surprise me that someone offered him something and he decided not to take it, that he wasn't going to lie about someone. He doesn't seem like that kind of person. So there you have it. But it makes me wonder where this offer came from. Not to say that in any way that is associated with the topic at hand, not directly anyway, but it just makes me wonder. Because one of the things that Harry has exposed is the lengths that the tabloid media will go to get a story and the type of money that is thrown around. So again, it makes one wonder. But yeah, they do. Let me see if I can. Let me see. I'll know it when I see it. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. This right here.
A journalist about how the media inflames this. I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is, it's sort of
got the topless girl on page 3. That's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family and the arguments between Meghan and Kate. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is being, you know, the flames are being fanned by the media,
You've heard the phrase
view.
cottage industry, this is a palace industry. Yes.
B. Martin, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So there you go. Just happens to be the Sun that she was speaking of. Okay, so let's go on to a lighter topic, shall we? White Shirt Day. It is Sussex Squad White Shirt Day. Now, a lot of squaddies have actually photographed themselves wearing a white shirt. I don't want to share any of those personal images. You know what I mean? Even though they put them on social media, I don't want to share them here. But I don't know how the white shirt thing got started, but I decided to pull out a few of my favorite images of our Duchess in white. There we go. And what about this? Even Harry's getting in on the white shirt action. And right there, again, Harry in his white shirt. It is quite the fashion statement. And Harry, again, white shirt. And Meghan here on the right again, the white shirt. And Harry doing a public service announcement in a, you got it, white shirt. And again, Meghan, those are like the biggest earrings I've ever seen Meghan wear. Those are the biggest earrings. Meghan always wear earrings that are quite subtle. All right. And of course, the boyfriend shirt. Isn't that what they call it? The boyfriend shirt, the husband shirt. Meghan had it partially tucked in on one side in the front. And this was our introduction to Harry and Meghan as a couple. She went to the Invictus game in Canada, right? Well, as you can see, it's tucked in on the right side. And, is it Nina, Nunu, No shirt? Well, anyway. Okay, thank you. VS says this Meghan at Invictus in September 2017 on their first outing to say they are a couple. She wore a white shirt. Thank you, VS. Well, there you go. There you go. And of course, the big gigantic bag as an accessory. Yeah. And torn jeans. Let us not forget the torn jeans. Don't they look blessed? How cute. How cute. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Meghan did something very daring at the Royal Ascot. She wore a white shirt dress. She wore a white shirt dress and was a huge hit at the Royal Ascot. Do you guys remember that? That is a shirt dress. Very daring. And she pulled it off flawlessly. Huh? And what I love about it is that the detail is very, very subtle. You can barely see it, but there is some, I suppose, embroidery near the belt line. So very, very cool. Bravo, Duchess of Sussex. And a Philip Tracy hat. Gotta wear a Philip Tracy. Yes, the Philip Tracy hat. Absolutely stunning. And then, of course, there was Australia when they went on the Oceania tour. This was, I believe this was taken at the farm when she brought the banana bread. And, of course, Oceania tour. That was the meeting with, oh my goodness, what is her name? You know, Ms. Magazine. Anyway, that's where the middle photo comes from. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name for some reason. And of course, Harry wearing a white shirt looking very, very dapper. Come on, you guys. What is her name? I cannot remember her name for some reason. Now that's gonna bug me. Gloria Steinem. Thank you, Legs. Gloria Steinem. And then I don't know where this photo comes from, where they're climbing up the steps, but that looks like yet another shirt dress. And right there on the right side, you can see Harry looking very powerful again in his white shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Can you guys see his power? Doesn't he look powerful with his sleeves rolled up? I can see his power. Yeah. But yes, he always looks very powerful with his white shirts on. His power is coming in sharp focus. What? What did I say? I'm just saying he looks very powerful, and you could probably see his power too. Okay. Right. And then let us not forget this. Let us not forget the Ellen DeGeneres show. That was a big hit. That top sold out very fast. And I'm just assuming the crisp white shirt thing must have started at a very young age, right? Obviously. So this is a throwback image of Meghan wearing a white button-down shirt. Okay. I know she looks absolutely adorable, right? Absolutely adorable. Okay. And continuing with that theme, how about the People's Princess, our Queen of Hearts, Princess Diana? Yeah, Diana could wear just about anything. She always looked elegant. And that's one thing that I think is really great, is when you can wear the most simple pieces and look ultra chic like that, right? That is the mark of someone who not only wears fashion, but has good taste. And remember, they say fashion is something you buy, but good taste is something that you either have or you don't. And some people don't have it. Now, let us remember the Queen of Rock and Roll wearing her white shirt. When I saw it was White Shirt Day today, the first thing I actually thought of was Tina Turner, because one of my favorite looks for her was when she was doing her concert tour and she was rocking the jeans and white shirt, looking absolutely gorgeous, right? Absolutely gorgeous. Simply the best. And then, of course, there are some people who didn't understand the assignment. Enters Kate. One thing about Kate with these white, actually with the tan trousers and the white shirt, I'm still trying to figure out, does she have them on backwards? And which direction is she walking? Is she going left or right, backwards or forward? I still don't know. And then, of course, what took me so long, I was ready at 7:00, Central Time. I was ready, but I wasn't, because you guys, the Derangers decided to post images of Will and Kate in white shirts. Did you know that? So when I saw that image of William, I had to remove the Photoshop to expose the real William in the photo, right? I had to painstakingly find the original so that I could share it with you. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll notice that I posted that about an hour ago. That's what took me so long. And then, of course, you can see they have Kate all photoshopped. Well, if they're going to Photoshop, they should give her some hips, right? They should try to give her some hips. Well, and a behind too. Well, I found the original photo before they added the Photoshop. There it is right there. There's Kate without any Photoshop, no filters, no raising or lowering the tone of the image. That's the real Kate Middleton. You're welcome. But I wanted to make sure that I found the actual Kate because I just don't think it's fair. Um, it's hard enough to be a woman as it is without these unnatural, superficial images that are always being thrown about on the social media. Don't you think it's right? Don't you think it's better people just be themselves, just age gracefully in the most natural of ways? I mean, after all, that's what um, that's what Queen Camilla has done. The Queen Consort, you don't see her going through any type of interventions, and people like her. So, no need for it. No need for it. Now, here's some good news for you guys. It continues with what we were talking about yesterday. Well, TVLine.com says Suits, upon hitting Netflix, dominates Nielsen's overall streaming chart with 2.3 billion minutes viewed. 2.3 billion. Leg says, I didn't know Gumby wore. I didn't know Gumby wore neutrals. I see what you mean. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you which direction she's going. I look at that photo and it looks like she's walking in the other direction, but then again, it looks like she's coming for us. I have been confounded. I need to do this. I need to post that on social media, like that guy did that dress, whether it was, what color was it? Remember that ugly wedding dress that his mama had? I should post that and say, which direction do you think she's going? Left or right, backwards or forward? This would be one of those photos that breaks the internet. I promise you it would. Meanwhile, the Nielsen overall streaming chart, which includes library titles, movies, and such, USA Network Suit, with the June 17th release of all seasons of Netflix, amassed 2.3 billion minutes viewed, with almost half of that viewing coming from just season 1 episode. Suits also streams on Peacock. How about that? Meghan Markle becomes one of US's most watched actresses again after quitting royal family. Exclusive U.S. legal drama Suits, in which Meghan Markle starred, has rocketed to the top of the streaming charts. And look at the date. That is July the 22nd, 2023. This is not an old story. This is a new one. Meghan is back on top. So, how about that? Not bad for someone who gave up showbiz because she fell in love, and now the residuals are pouring in, or should I say, the ratings are climbing up again. So, congratulations to the team at Suits, including Patrick J. Adams and the rest of the gang. And then to continue with what I said yesterday about the perceptions of beauty, Meghan is and always has been a gorgeous, gorgeous lady. As a girl, she, wore those horn-rimmed glasses. She had the what does she call it? The Krusty the Crown afro and all that kind of stuff. She was trying to find herself. She identified with what's her name, Andie MacDowell, and she has the freckles and she has the big curly crimped hair. So Megan was like, yes, that's the look right there. Only to find out that as the humidity grows So did our hair. And anyway, she had a good laugh about it on the Ellen show. Well, just to continue with what I was saying, Meghan downplays her looks. She would rather people take her for the goodness in her heart and the way she lives her life, and not because she has some glam squad that's constantly preparing her to walk out the door. That's not who she is. When it's time to be professional, she will act accordingly. But when she has to roll up her sleeves and do work, that's who she is. As Harry said when they went to Africa on that long date, he thought that she was not going to have a good time because he met this very glamorous woman that he, saw on a picture and found out that she was an actress, and he couldn't stop thinking about her. And the more he watched, the more he liked. The more he spent time with her, the more he liked. But during those minutes away from the public, he got to know the real Meghan, and he still liked what he saw. He still loved who he fell in love with, and that hasn't changed. So there you go. So I'm not going to do a side by side, but I am going to show you the picture. Just to make sure that we understand where I'm coming from. I'm just going to show you that portrait one more time that seemed to have caused a great deal of controversy, where they got upset with the artist. They got upset with the artist for painting what he saw, right? Recollections may vary. So that's it. I'm not going to add anything else to that statement. I think I probably said too much yesterday. It's not a competition. And if it were, we all know the side that most would come down on, but it's not a competition. That's it. So, and with that, you guys, I did a minimal amount of my pettiness today, but I do so enjoy it. Thank you all for watching Royal Sussex. And as usual, we reflect on our queens, Queen Doria and Queen Diana. Kathy A., thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Happy Saturday to you. Okay. Oh, and by the way, thank you, BW. She sent me a donation earlier via the PayPal. So thank you again, BW, for that. All right. And so with that, you guys, we are done. All right. So not exactly an hour and 20 minutes, but not bad. And I don't suppose Petal was on, right? I don't suppose Petal was on. Let me take a look. I don't think so. Okay. Nope, not on, and I don't think she's scheduled at this time, but I would look out for her just in case. I see Anita of My Duke and I was on earlier today. Shocking. Dan Wootton is begging for money plus hacking and threats to something, it says. Interesting. Okay, well, there you go. There's some other options for you. And of course, the links that I put at the top of the chat. But thank you all so much. Again, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you to the moderators for keeping this a safe space. And also, thank you for your contributions and your contribution to the chats, your likes, your shares, and of course, people who have a membership to Royal Sussex. Thank you ever so much. All right. And so our last word of the day will be will be that's right. Our queens are beautiful inside and out. Thank you, Leisha. That will be our last word of the day. And with that, I am going to cue the Ginger Avenger, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Have a pleasant rest of your Saturday or your early Sunday morning, wherever you are. Okay? Thank you so much.